In the fourth and final video of the Expedition Ohio series, we'd like to share a few samples of some of the audio we captured in and around our primitive camp. We spent 3 days and 2 nights in this location that took us 2.5 hours to hike into this sector of the forest, where we didn't find any sign of human activity.
So now we're about to play 2 audio clips. One is an actual tree that did fall in Falk, Arkansas and has been recorded. And you'll be able to tell the difference between the tree falling and the audio clips we have of the possible trees being pushed, broken, or manipulated.
Yeah, this is something that Kane and I had started paying attention to about 3 years ago, when we started pushing in a lot farther and we'd get this type of interaction. We started paying attention to, wait a minute, we had the break, but we had no crash. Now you're going to hear 2 audios of tree breaks between 12 minutes apart from each other, with very little wind blowing at the time this occurred. "45 minutes into our hike and started experiencing knock. They were coming from really different directions. As we got into camp and set up, throughout the rest of that evening into late evening, the knocks started coming in closer. We were getting paralleled with knocks throughout the whole expedition. The 3 days and 2 nights of the expedition, we would get multiple knocks around us. Daytime, nighttime, it really didn't matter when. They were just really letting us know that their presence was there.
This next audio clip, spectrogram video, is going to be of sounds of coyotes going off. It was recorded a little after 2 a.m. In the middle of these coyotes, you can hear a distinct wood knock.
This next one is a possible whoop. It was around 10:25 in the evening on Saturday. We had actually let the sun go down. We went dark for a few hours. We didn't light the fire. We calmed down. We stopped all movement and just hunkered down. Didn't do anything. And we waited and we listened and we captured this. You'll hear this clip 3 times.
This next clip is a possible knock, whoop, and another vocal.
These sounds that you're about to hear was extremely close to us. I put them within 30 yards of the campsite. The vocal that you hear really doesn't do it justice if you're not there with us. You could hear the chattering of the vocal. You could hear almost what sounded like garbled up words. It was extremely interesting, and by far the best vocal I have ever heard in doing this.
This next audio clip you're going to hear is a possible. It was caught at 9:25 Saturday night. Just to regular Joe that listens to this, you may think it's just an owl. But I can assure you, while we camped out there those 2 nights, that we heard very few owls. But we'll be able to compare the owl on a spectrogram to this possible vocalization by a booger. We really believe it's a whoop, but we'll let you be the judge. This clip you're going to hear was recorded early Monday morning. I'd stayed up most of the night because Cheryl had activity around his tent the night before. We were trying to capture something on the FLIR, so I gave him a walkie-talkie. I kept a walkie-talkie. But all night it was fairly quiet. It was around 4:30 Monday morning. We got this vocalization. It sounds like something saying something, and we know for sure that it wasn't any of us.
This vocalization baffled all the analysts. Sawdust decided to mimic the voicing to compare on the spectrogram the differences between a human's signature frequency and the actual vocalization that was captured. Observe the differences between the two.
Before we started this expedition, Kane and I did a lot of homework. It took roughly a year and a half to get to the point of the expedition and having our friends come out with us. The first night, Friday night, we were there. We drove around the back roads and we went to a location. The reason for doing this is we wanted to get a response, which we knew what we would get, but it would help us identify where they actually were in reference to where we were going to go and hike in the following morning and set up camp for the weekend. What we received went with knowing how to track them when they were coming through. We had the time down to a month of their travel pattern. They travel in a counterclockwise motion through this area. We knew that they would be in the area that we were going to camp for the weekend, but we wanted to make sure that we were in front of them as they were coming through. We didn't want to be behind them and lose interaction with them during the camp out. So in doing this, Friday night, we went out. We were able to establish their location by the reply back to us.
This has been a Sawdust production.